Hi, welcome to NDE TV. I'm Peggy Robinson. Today's guest is Dennis Bullock. Am I saying it right?
That's right.
Bullock?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I was just telling him when I heard his story the other day, I carried my phone around everywhere. I was sitting on my phone and I couldn't put it down. It it just like
Oh,
captivated me. I love your
wow.
story. I love
Oh,
your
thank
connection
you.
to your mother.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, she is the light of my life and was the light of my life and still is. Um, but yeah, I'm so happy to be able to tell what happened to me and that it affects people in such a positive way. Um, well, I'm going to start my story. And I thank you for being on on your program, Peggy. I'm a fan of yours, and I thank you for bringing mystery and the mystery of life and afterlife to the people and to the public, and for bringing light to the people at this really special time we're living in. Well, to get started, I had two NDE stories. The first one was because of my mother. Me and my mother were very, very close. She was the love of my life. She was so positive and joyful all the time. She used to tell me, did you see the birds this morning? Did you hear them?" And she was just so full of joy. That's the only way to describe it. Uh, and I'm a musician and I'm a singer and a saxophone player. And she bought me my first saxophone, and she saved her money. She didn't have a job at that time, and she saved her money to buy me my first horn. So when she got sick and she died, uh, my whole world crashed. Um, she was the light in the world for me. She was the thing that made me know that there was joy and there was love in this life, and that it could be a happy life. And when she passed away, I was 29 years old, and I wasn't ready for to lose my mother. So it really, really crushed my world, and I became a little bit. I wasn't suicidal, but I didn't care if I got hit by a car or if somebody shot me. I wouldn't care at that time, because for me, when my mother left this world, my life was over in my thinking. And so the first week and a half, I began to drink every night. I had a routine. I was living in Montreal, Canada at this time, and I would drink every night, and I would come home um, and sit on my bed and cry myself to sleep. That was my routine. And this one particular night, I mean, how I would usually do it, I would come into my apartment in Montreal, Canada. I come into my bedroom and I turn out the light, sit on my bed, and start to do my routine, which is to cry myself to sleep. And this one night, I came in, I turned out the light, I sat on my bed, and I went to untie my sneakers. And then I saw that there was light on the ground on my sneakers. And I said, "That's funny. I know I turned out the light." And when I looked up, that's the crazy part. When I looked up, it was if the sun that you see in the sky was in my room, right in front of me. And the love that came from this sun was like, whew, the best way to describe it was like a wave. Like if you stand in the ocean and you have dry clothes on, and a whole wave just covers your whole body. And imagine that the wave, the water, is love. It just covered me totally, totally. And I was I was full. Every inch of me was full of love. And out of this big light, which I now know was God, came two smaller lights like stars. They weren't big as God's light, but they were like stars coming out of, and they kind of floated out towards me. One was a little bit a bigger star than the other, and the other smaller star was my mother. I recognized that that's my mom. And they floated out to me. And the first thing I said to her, said, "Oh, wow, Mom, you're all right." I said, "Is that how it is over there?" Because it was so much love. The best way I can describe it is like, if you're in Hawaii and you're on a beach, it's the perfect weather. You're in a relaxer chair. It's the perfect breeze. You feel great. You're around loving people. Imagine that 1,000 times. That's as close as I can get to describe it. and that's the first thing I said. "You're all right." "Oh God," I said, "it's so beautiful." I said, "It's like that over here." And then she came to me and she started to talk to me. And how she talked to me was kind of like we're talking now, except I felt like the conversation was kind of shot into me. Even though I heard her just like I hear you, just like we're talking. There was no delay in the conversation, but I could feel the conversation more than I just hear the conversation. But with her, I could hear it and feel it. And so it was like no way I could misinterpret whatever she said, because I also felt what she said. And she said to me, "I'm going to tell you 1 week in the future so that you're going to know that this is not a dream. This actually is real. This happened." And so she said, "I'm telling you this so you will know it to be true and you'll never doubt it." And the first thing she said, "You're going to have a job next week." And she said, "There's going to be a doorman or bouncer there." And she said, "This bouncer is going to be a homosexual and he's going to be a psychopath." And she said, "Don't get into any arguments with him or fights." Now, I don't have anything against people who are gay or lesbian. I just want to make sure that that's clear. I don't judge anybody. But I was in my 20s, and I call them the roaring 20s. And I wasn't looking for any trouble, but it was like a Western. If trouble came, I could handle it. I was not an aggressive person, but in my 20s, I was ready to defend my manhood. If a gay person came onto me knowing that I'm not gay, yeah, I was ready to defend myself with that. And my mother knew that, and that's why she told me, "Don't get into any arguments or any fights with them." She said, "Just tell them that you're not like this and walk away." And she also showed me 2 timelines, which I found out to be timelines, or 2 possibilities. And she said, in one timeline, you kill him, but you go to jail for life. And the other timeline, he kills you. And she said, one of these timelines will happen if you get into an argument or fight with him. And I said, "No, Mom, I'm not gonna fight. I'm gonna listen to you, whatever you said, whatever you're telling me, I'm gonna listen." And then she said another thing. She said, "The girlfriend that you are with now, she has 3 kids that you don't know about." And she said she's gonna try to have a 4th kid with you, but against your will. Like she's gonna try to trick you, or say she was on the pill and she wasn't, and stuff like that. And she said, "I'm telling you these things that you're gonna never forget that this happened, that this is real." And what else? Oh yeah. Then she said, and then I said, "Okay, Mom, I'm gonna listen to you." And then I said, "But Mom, who is this other light?" Because there was another light standing next to her all the time, but it didn't say anything. And when I asked her, "Who is this other light?" the other light spoke to me, and it said, "I'm an escort." And it said that, this is exact words, this is an interruption in your life. And I said, oh, wow. I said, an interruption. I said, okay, but I have some questions. I got God in my room, and my room is like Star Wars. I said, I got some questions. Who's going to be my wife? How many kids I'm going to have? Why am I here? What's the meaning of life? And the angel calmly, very neutral voice said to me, I'm going to answer all your questions, but you will not be allowed to remember. So it did answer all my questions, but I only was allowed to remember what my mother said. And while they were there, which I call this an angel because it just had so much love coming from it. I could sense the relationship between my mother and the angel. And that was very unique for me because the more after the angel spoke to me, it's kind of like I kind of connected with their relationship somehow. And what I sensed or heard was like my mother was telling the angel, you got to get me over there. My boy's in trouble. You got to get me over there. And the angel answered to her like, because it's love, I will get you over there. And what I understood from that, sensing their conversation was that love never dies and love can break through any world. That's why she was able to punch a hole into my world, into this life, and say what she had to say. So yeah, that's something I wanted to share also. And then my mother said, the last thing she said to me, she said, I love you and I will always be around you, but you won't be as much of, you won't be aware as much of me being there as you are now. And then they started to pull away. And it's like somebody was turning down the heat in my room. It was like an ice cube melting in a glass. And as they slowly pulled away, tears burst out of my eyes. It burst out of my eyes and rolled down my face. And I said, nobody's ever going to believe me. Nobody's ever going to believe this. It's so incredible. Nobody's ever going to believe me. And tears were rolling down my face. But I've got the proof. I got the actual proof. The next week, I got a job. My band, we hadn't worked for 2 to 3 weeks. And we got a job. My band member called me and he said, we have a job. It's at this club, whatever. And so I said, great. And then a little bell started to ring in my head that my mother's thing seems to be coming true. What my mother said about me getting a job. So I said, but I didn't tell my band members about my experience because I didn't want them to say, oh, Dennis is a great singer, great musician, great saxophonist, but he lost it when his mother died. So I didn't want that. So I didn't tell them. I just said, okay, great. I'll be there. So I went to the job. It was daytime. It's like we do what we call a sound check, where we check all the sound before we do the show, like a few hours before we do the show. And when I got to the club, I saw that there was these 2 huge bouncers, huge guys. I mean, I'm a big guy, but these guys, one arm looks, one of their arm would be my whole body. They were huge, like the Hulk Hogan type of people, wrestling type, very, very, very big. And so I saw them and I didn't say anything. They didn't say nothing to me. We went on, we did the sound check. It was in the daytime and then nothing happened. Then later on, a few hours after, we started to do our show, which was at night. And we did our first set, my band. And after we finished the first set, we went on a break. And we were talking, we were standing around talking. I was like, this is the band and this was me. And then this bouncer, one of the bouncers, he walked by me and then he grabbed my butt. And I was like, hey. And I said, hey, and then he went into a corner and just looked at me. And I told the band members, hey guys, did you see that? This guy just grabbed my butt. They said, no, we just saw the guy pass you, but we didn't see him. We didn't see that part because he was behind me and they didn't see that he grabbed me. So they just saw me react. So I said, I got to go over there. I got to tell this guy something. At first I was angry. I was, like I said, I was vigor. I was in my 20s, and then I remembered what my mom said. I said, remember what mom said? Remember what mom said? Don't get into an argument with this guy. Just go over and tell him you're not like that. And so I went over to him and I said, hey man, I'm not like that. I'm not gay. I don't go that way. Sorry. And please don't touch me again. And the guy said, you had too much beers. That's all. And I said, no, I didn't have too much beers. I know what you did. And he said, and the other thing he said, he said, why did you tell your friends? I said, I told my friends because that's what you did. And at that point, I just said, I better get ready to go away from this conversation because it's getting ready to turn to that bad street that my mother was talking about. So I said, listen, man, I'm not that way. Please don't touch me again. Thank you. And I walked away. So we did our last set and we left the club. Nothing happened. I got home and then the next morning or the next afternoon, I got a phone call from one of the band members. And he called me, he said, did you hear what happened? I said, no, what happened? He said, that bouncer that you were talking about that tried to touch you, he broke the club owner, the owner of the club, which was a friend of mine. He broke both rib cages, both of his rib cages, crushed them, and he went to jail for manslaughter.
Who did? The grabber, the homosexual man or the?
Yes, the homosexual man.
Okay. I didn't know if the guy retaliated or, okay.
Yeah. He must have did something or came on to the club owner, and the club owner just went forward with arguments and whatever. And he crushed both of his rib cages, crushed them. And the guy is, and to this day, as we talk, he is still in jail.
Good.
Okay. And so when my band member told me that, I said, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. And I still didn't tell my band member what happened to me, but I just said, wow, that's so crazy. I told him, I said, I felt that this guy was not right, but I didn't tell him why, why I felt that. So I said, okay. And I hung up the phone. And then I thought to myself, wow, everything my mother is saying is coming true. I said, if that's true, then my girlfriend, I said, it's true what she said too. What she said about her, what my mom said about my girlfriend. So I said, because I've been seeing my girlfriend for about a year and a half, and she never mentioned any kids, and basically she hid them from me and she lied. She basically lied to me. But anyway, I called her and I asked her, I said, hi. And she said, hello. And I said, tell me something. Do you have 3 kids? And the phone went silent for a minute. And then she said, who told you? And I couldn't even believe what I was hearing. I said, no, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Do you have 3 kids? And she said, yes. Who told you? And I said to her, well, I'm going to tell you, but you're not going to believe me. My dead mother told me. And I told her after that, I said, I can't be with you anymore if you're going to, how could you deny your own kids? I said, I don't know what else you could be hiding. So we broke up. And that was my first NDE story was that. Um, and I learned so much from that experience about souls and stuff, but we'll talk about that
Do
a
you
little
think
bit.
it was like a
Yes.
death of your soul? You were so depressed that you had NDE versus death of a body? Because I understand that.
Well, I felt, I mean, I felt my mother's experience was more, it's more like she came to visit. It was a visit. She came to take me off this timeline, this path that I was on, and put me on another. And because we had such strong love that, and she knew that I just didn't know my mother was dead, and in my mind at that time, she was just gone. I didn't know what had happened to her. And by her coming back and showing me that she's well and alive and she is fine, she's even better than she was in this life. Oh, that was a huge healing. It healed me totally. I stopped drinking. It healed me totally.
I believe love can defy the laws of nature. And I
Oh,
think
it can punch a hole into this world and do many things. I can tell you that right now. It's so powerful. People don't realize that, but the love can go across anything, any physical laws of nature, anything. um, Now, 5 years after that experience was my second NDE. Now, 5 years after that, um, I had a mentor who I'm not going to mention his name just to protect his family, but he was one of the singers of the Platters. And that was a doo-wop group like the Temptations and stuff like that. He had a great career. He was an awesome singer. He had record deals everywhere in America and Germany, everywhere. And he introduced me to drugs because I was young at that time in my 20s, and I wanted to know, I wanted to be successful, and I started to follow him. He was like my mentor. He was a few years older than me, and so we started to do drugs together, which I'm not so proud of, by the way. Um, but I ended up doing his last show. He died, and that was my wake up call. And when he
he
died,
died of drugs.
yes, yes, well, complications from drugs because he had asthma and then he took drugs and that kind of wiped him out um, over a period of time. So his last show I ended up doing, he couldn't even hardly sing anymore. I was singing his parts for him, and he was kind of lip syncing because he couldn't get the air to put into the note. So I would do it, and just for the people to see that the show was still going on. They didn't really quite know it quite right away. But anyway, he died. I did the show on that weekend. He died the last day of that weekend. And that was my wake up call. And then I stopped. It's cold turkey. And I replaced that because I stopped cold turkey because I didn't want to end up like him. I thought that's how you're going to end up if you continue doing what he does. So I stopped cold turkey, and then I replaced that drug with marijuana, which I would smoke a joint every now and then. And this one particular night with my new girlfriend at the time, we ran out of marijuana. So I called a friend, and we were living in Montreal, Canada. I called a friend and I said, you know where I can get some marijuana? And he said, hey, I can get some for you, and I'll bake a cake for you and I'll put it in a cake. And I said, cool, cool. I never had it in a cake. I said, cool, that sounds cool. So he baked it, poured a lot of marijuana in this cake. And he brought it over to my apartment and dropped it off to me and left it there with me and my girlfriend. So it was a chocolate cake, by the way. And so I cut a piece for her and I cut a piece for me. And I said, I never had it in the cake. I wonder how that's going to be. And she said, yeah, me too. I'm curious. So let's find out. So she ate a piece, I ate a piece, and we waited 20 minutes, and then nothing happened. Nothing happened. So we said, it must be, maybe we didn't eat enough. So I said, the cake tastes pretty good. So I cut half of the cake, you eat half, and I eat the other half. And she said, yeah, let's do that. And that was a very bad idea. Very bad idea. Very bad idea. So she ate half, I ate half, and we waited 20 minutes. And again, nothing happened. And we said, must be a bad batch or something. I don't feel anything. Do you? She says, no, I don't feel nothing. I said, oh, that's a bummer. We must have got a bad batch. Then we waited another 10 minutes. Then all of a sudden, things started to happen. But it wasn't getting us high. It was shutting down our organs, our body. I was talking with her, then I would forget to breathe, and then I was having trouble to move. It was beginning to be hard for me to move. And she said to me, my girlfriend said to me, oh, you better call 911 while we still can. And I said, yeah, that's a good idea. And I went to the phone and I dialed 911. And they said, hello, how can we help you? And I was very embarrassed to tell them. I said, well, we had a cake that had a lot of marijuana in it, and we feel like we are dying. Can you send someone over, please, immediately come? Can you help us? Can you save us?
I can imagine the laughter as soon as they hung up.
Oh, they must have on the floor, and said thank you. And so in Canada, when you dial 911, an emergency call, if it has any kind of drug in it, the police are notified also. So when they finally came, I was holding on to dear life because everything was shutting down. My heart was trying to beat, and I was hoping, I was waiting, and I was holding with all my might in my mind that they get here, because I knew I couldn't stay. I wouldn't stay alive long. And my girlfriend was in the same situation. She was kind of frozen. We both were kind of frozen, like our body was shutting down. So when they arrived, the cops arrived with them, and the cops came and they were looking to press us with charges, but because
there's no evidence,
the cake, there was no evidence, so they left. And then the ambulance, they took us, each of us, in a stretcher. Now we lived on the third floor, and we had our neighbors on the second and the first floor. And this was at 4 o'clock in the morning, by the way. So the neighbors were looking at the window, lights were flashing everywhere. And they were looking like, what happened to them? And we're coming down there like, I don't know. It looked like Mick Jagger who had overdosed or something. It was crazy. And so we got into the ambulance, and we got there, and they put my girlfriend in one room and in the hospital, and they put me in another. Oh yeah, there's one more thing I can't forget. As they were taking me into the hospital on the stretcher, I saw my dead mother again. She was at the reception. She had this shirt on that she wears when she has a girls' club that she used to be in. It's like they go play bingo together when she was alive on this earth. And it's about 10 women, and they would go on trips together. And she had this particular shirt on that she would wear when she was doing that, when she was in that club. And she was looking through the reception papers, looking for me. And as I was passing her, they were passing her. I said, oh, wow, there's Mom. And I said, that's strange. And they rolled me into the room and rolled my girlfriend into the other room, and they gave me this black drink. Now, I called it tar in some of my interviews before, but I found out that it's activated charcoal, which is to detox any kind of drug or any kind of chemical in your system. It tastes horrible, by the way.
Had it once.
So, yeah, I drank it all the way down because I was relieved that they came, because I said, oh, I think I'm going to live. I think I'm going to live. And I drank it all the way down. And they left me in my hospital room for about 2 hours. And they were, my girlfriend was having some kind of other complications. I don't know what, but she was having some kind of other complications. So they were looking at her. And I was on my hospital bed. I had drank the charcoal. And I said to myself, wow, I think I'm finally going to be all right. And I'm lying in my bed. And all of a sudden, I start to hear my heart. And it was like in my ear almost. And it started to be boom, 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 boom. And when it stopped, I popped out of my body. And I was standing on the side of my bed, and my body was in the bed. And the first thing I said then was, I'm out. I'm out, you know. And the second thing I did was look at my hand. I said, I'm out. And then when I looked at my hand, what I saw was like, the best way to describe it is like, if you watch television and an emergency broadcasting system comes on, if you watch very late and there's no programs, but just what we call static. Whoosh, and in that static, there's kind of like colors. If you really look into that, there's colors in that static. Well, that's kind of what my hand looked like, with a light blue grayish tint around it. And I was looking at my hand and I said, I'm out. And then there was, in my hospital room, there was a sink, and there was a drop of water just going boop, boop, boop. And for some odd reason, my curiosity, or my soul curiosity, was like at 100. That drop of water was so fascinating in a soul's eyes. I said, a drop of water. That's just exactly what I thought in my soul. I said, wow. And I said, the minute the minute I thought I would like to see that water, that drop of water up close, my vision just went very close and then very back far. And then I said, wow, I'd like to see that drop of water from every angle. And this is when it starts to get really crazy. I opened my hand and 5 of me appeared around the drop of water. Now, oh yeah, wait, this happened first, actually. I wanted to stop the drop of water in midair. I wanted to stop it because it was dripping. I wanted to see it. So I said, it's like, the best way to describe this part was like, if you haven't ridden a bike in 20 years and I hand you a bicycle, you're still going to be able to ride. And that's how it was for my soul, was like, oh yeah, I remember how to do this. I can stop time. And I just waved my hand across the air, just like that. And the water froze in midair. It froze totally. Then when it froze in midair, that's when I said, I'd like to see this water from every angle. And I opened my hand, and then 5 of me appeared, 5 of me. One was on the right, one was on the left of the water, one was underneath the water while it was in midair, one was looking at the 3, and another one was looking at them, looking at that, and then it was me looking at all 5 of them. And I said, wow, I'm able to, and they were like me, same face, white body silhouette, a silhouette of a body. And when I would close my hand like that, they would all come back to me, to one. And that kind of fascinated me. So I did it again, and they would all appear, boom. And I kept doing boom, 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 boom. And then I said, this time I'm going to add a little shake. And I shake my hand a little bit, and they would appear and shake a little bit. And I'd go back, and it just turned into Bugs Bunny. And I kept doing it very fast. Oh, the water about that. And then I burst out laughing on the other side. And that was amazing. When I burst out laughing, the laugh sounded like I was in the Grand Canyon. Ha, 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 all the way into eternity. And I was having such a ball. Like I said, it was really like Bugs Bunny. I could do anything I wanted. And then after I laughed, I felt somebody was watching me. And they were watching me from behind. And then I heard this voice, and it gently put a thought into me. It's like if I gently touch your hand, gently, very gently, it said to me, like, kind of like a parent would say to a child, um, you know, don't run too fast around the corner or you could fall. And but that wasn't what it said. It said, but that it was like in that parent way, it said, if you stay out here too long, you might have to stay. And then I said, oh, because I wasn't even thinking about that. It shot that thought into me. And I said, oh, you're right. My heart can't stay stopped forever. And then I pointed myself into the direction of my bed. And that's another thing I didn't want to do. I knew my body was, over there somewhere, but I never wanted to look at it because I was afraid that it would be in a horrible, horrible position or something. And I didn't want to be scared. So I just pointed myself in that direction. And I thought, I want to go into my body. And my soul flew right into my body, and my heart started to beat. And then everything was fine. And what I got from that voice was God. And it was like a parent telling a child. Was not an order. It was just like a parent would tell a child in a playground, don't run around the corner too fast, you could fall. It was just like that. Don't stay out here too long, you could end up staying. And so that really, it was so easy to die. That's another thing too. Dying was like, you're yawn and you're out. Or you drink a glass of water and you're out. It was no, I'm dying, or nothing like that. It happened so fast, and it was so natural and easy. I didn't even believe that I was out. I was like, I'm out. But I knew that I could see some part of my body in the bed, and I'm standing, and I could see the side of the bed where I'm standing. So I knew that I was out. And what I got from why I saw my mother was that if my mother had found me, I would have never come back. That was the download that I got. Oh yeah, and that's another thing I forgot to mention. Yes. It's like while I was out of my body, it was like if you have an Alka-Seltzer tablet and you put it in water, it starts to dissolve, right? With me, being outside of my body was the opposite. The more I stayed out, the more information was swelling in me. And the more I was discovering I have powers. And the more I stayed, the more powers I had. I could discover I could stop time. Oh, I discovered I can divide myself with no problem. It was just getting bigger and bigger and more information. And this time I was able to bring back that information. And also, that NDE gave me some kind of gift, because after that, my life was not the same. I was able to read people's energy. And I discovered that after that, because I went on to have a music job in a place called Mont Canada, and with my band. And there was like a snowstorm that day. And there was like maybe 2 clients in the whole club. And so my band and I were bored. We were bored. We were having our beers. We were bored. There was nothing going on. So there was a waitress there, and I said, "Hey, waitress, come on over here. I'm gonna tell you your future for fun." It was supposed to be a joke. So I said, "Give me your left hand." And I took her left hand. Now, I didn't know her from a hole in the wall. It was the first time we played there. So I didn't know her from a hole in the wall. And I said to her, your boyfriend is paraplegic. I said, he blames you for his being paraplegic. And I said, 3 months from now, you're going to meet a guy and you're going to fall in love with this guy and you're going to marry this guy and you're going to be very happy. And that was it. And I just left her hand. And I didn't notice that she didn't say a word while I was talking, not one word. And I just finished my beer and she left. And then the next year we played that same club again. And this time when I was sitting down, same waitress was working there. And she ran up to me and she looked at me and she said, did you know that everything you said was true? I said, no way. That was a joke. No way. She said, I said, your boyfriend was paraplegic? And she said, yes. I said, and he blames you for his handicap? She said, yes. And I said, 3 months after you met a guy and you fell in love with him? She said, yes. And you married him? And she showed me the wedding ring. And then the hairs on my arm went up to my neck. And I said, oh my God, what am I? What am I? Have I turned into an alien or something? What's going on? That was the first time I started to realize that I have this gift since I had my NDE. Second time was another story and this story was a little bit horrible, to say the least. It was a good friend of mine who was also a doorman, but a cool guy, cool doorman, nothing strange. He loved the music, he loved the band, and he used to work at these after-hour places. And these after-hour places are like places that people go after the clubs close at 2 a.m. These after-hour places stay open until 7 a.m, where you can have a beer and you can sit and talk, and it's a cool place. And so he works at those places, but he's, again, another huge guy, you know. Now, I had a premonition on Thursday that this particular guy, who was a friend of mine, shouldn't go out that weekend. And it was so powerful. I mean, it just was all over me, this dread that this person should not go out this weekend. And so I saw my friend on Friday after my job, and I started to say something to him about this premonition, but then I said, he's gonna think I'm crazy. I said, how big is this guy? Who's gonna mess with him? I said, nobody's gonna mess with him, not in their right mind. I said, no way, this guy's huge, no way. And also I said, maybe my feelings are just kind of weird these days. So I'm not, you know, maybe it's just a feeling that happened, or I'm imagining this feeling or something. And so he's going to look at me like I'm crazy if I tell him that. So I didn't tell him. And that Sunday, I went to another after hours, and another one of those, the doorman, was crying. He was actually crying. And I said, what's wrong, man? You know, this was after a job I had because I was working every weekend. He said, you didn't hear? I said, no. What happened? What's wrong? And he said the guy's name, which I won't say, but he said, he's dead. And I said, dead? What do you mean? What happened? And he told me that my friend, he met a girl, and after his job, and he took her to a hotel. She waited till he fell asleep and with a knife cut his throat. And he bled to death. He tried to stop her, but he had lost too much blood because he was sleeping. And she waited till he was actually sleeping. And she slashed him, and it was too late. He had lost too much blood, and he died. And I ended up going to his funeral. And I said, if I get a premonition, even if it's for the president of the United States, I'm going to call them and I'm going to tell them. I will never withhold information again. Never. I don't care how strange it may be. I don't care what, if I get it, I'm telling.
I learned
And
that
that
the hard
was,
way too.
yeah, I'm telling. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so after that, I started to do like energy readings, which I do for health, I do for loved ones, I do for children, I do for partner, a job. And also, I tell people about my downloads from the other side, what information I got. And this, I remember I was doing this one guy at a party, because sometimes people were hiring me for parties to, like I'm a circus clown or something, but they would hire me for parties to do energy reading sometimes. So I was doing this one guy who was normal. He came in, he sat down like everybody else, and he said, I want a health reading. And I said, okay. And I said, give me your left hand. And he said, tell me this, what's going on with my body, what's wrong with my body. And when I took his left hand, I could feel his body, but his body was okay up until his right leg. And what I felt was that I told him, I said, your right leg it's not real. And he said, he looked at me and he said, no, you are real, because that's right. I have a prosthetic leg and nobody can tell, because I walk just like everybody else. It looks like a normal leg. I move just like everybody else, but that's right. And now I know that you are real. and and then he had some nerve problems that I told him about, and that was it. But that was part of the gift that I can do. I can help people with that, and I can do it through the phone. I can do it. I do it now through Zoom, because it's all about energy. Um, and it all I do is it's not information that I know. It's more I'm reading what their energy is telling me. It's not what I'm telling them. So I'm just able, somehow able to read it. I'm able to read it. I can read the relationship between two people, if it's going good, if it's going bad, if the person is cheating, if not. I can read all of that in their energy. And the funny thing is, people we love and people we hate, I can read their energy quite easy, because you connect with the person you hate because of the hate. You actually connect with them, and also with the love. People who you don't know, it's more difficult for me to read, because there's no energy connection. So these things I learned that I could do. Um, and oh yeah, right. And the information that I got from the other side, that's another thing. It's kind of surprising. But if you want me to tell you, I can tell you
Sure.
some. Well, first thing that shocked me with my download was the information I got, which was, on the other side, there is no right or wrong. There is no better or better. Um, Everything is the same. Um, and people who are, how I describe it is that people who are what we consider bad people, people who do violent crimes and even kill people or whatever, on the other side, they're looked at more like they're taking the long way home, the long way home. Everybody's going to the mountain, which is God. Now, people who are enlightened, who help others and love, they're more on the short way home. People who take the long way home are more on a lower vibration, but they're just taking a long way home. On the other side, it's not looked at as they're bad and you're good. It's just looked at, oh, they took the long way home. Oh, she take the short way home. That's it. No better. There's no better or better. Now, the only thing I can say also is that a person who does horrible things and tragic things, um, they will feel something, but it's not a punishment. It's more of because of their life review. Because when they have their life review, God is watching, angels are watching, a whole bunch of of other entities are watching that. Um, they're going to feel what the other person felt, not necessarily only what they felt. They feel that, but they also feel how the other person reacted to what you did in life. So like if you had an argument with someone, you're gonna feel what that person felt the moment you were arguing with them, how that other person felt. So if, for example, if you're a person like Hitler who caused so many um, deaths and all so many horrible tragedies, he's gonna feel what the others felt because of his actions. And that's kind of like a small hell, but it won't last forever, because the life review doesn't last forever. But he will feel all those thousands or millions of people what they felt because of his actions. He will feel exactly what they felt. So that's I wouldn't call it a punishment, but that's um, kind of what you would have to endure if you're doing such horrible things. But it's not to punish you. It's more to just show you what you did. Nobody judges you on the other side. That's another download. There's no judgment. The only person that judges you is you. You'll be the only one that will judge you. You'll be the only one that say, I could have did that better.
That's the way it was in I guess it was a life review, but I didn't think of it as one when I heard the words life review, because I was judging myself. I was telling God everything that happened to me, all the abuses. And that's why I couldn't stay in heaven. I had to go home and take care of my boys.
Yeah.
Earth was like
Yeah.
leaving them down there with the wolves, you know. And so it
Yeah.
wasn't like God showing my life and in this scenario. Not, it was all these little scenarios I was showing God, but it went real fast. Like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
happened, this happened, this happened. No,
Uh-huh.
this person is not safe. It's not safe for
Right.
my
Right.
kids, you know.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, the everyone's going to have some sort of life review, some type of life review, and in that life review, you will feel what the others felt. Whatever interactions, you'll feel the love too. You'll feel that. You'll feel anything that happened in the life, but it's not to judge you. Like I said, it's more to show you this is what you did in that life. That's it. Because God is watching with love. God loves every person, good or bad, in our perception of what bad is. And that's another thing I got, was that people who are, let's say, murdered, or a child is murdered. This is what I learned from my first NDE, is that the soul knows the past, present, and future. That child that was murdered know that it's not going to stay here for long. That child knows, the soul knows. And that's how my mother knew the future. And she told me, I'm only going to allow you a week. I'm going to tell you in the future. But she knew much more than that.
What did your
And
mom
so,
die of?
cancer,
Oh.
lung cancer. She smoked, but she was always so careful not to. She smoked. She was the only smoker I know that you wouldn't even know that she smoked. She was always so considerate of everybody. Um, I can't say enough good things about my mom. I mean, she would go outside and she would have her little cigarette, and then she'd put it out and she'd come back in the house, and she would never smoke inside. So I don't even remember smelling smoke on her. That's how, but she was a smoker, and that's what happened. She died of lung cancer. And yeah, but
Are you the only child?
no, I have a brother and I have a sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they know about these experiences with your mom?
Um, no, because my brothers and sisters, they're, I don't know if I would call them spiritual, but my sister a little bit, knows a little bit, but she doesn't want to think about those type of things. And my brother doesn't believe at all. He says, "Oh, you just, you were just sad because mom died. That's all." She doesn't want to face that possibility. And I said, "Well, I mean, how did I find out all these things? Why is that guy still in jail?" And then I just didn't. I don't fight for people to believe me. Either they do or they don't, because I'm here to give love. I know who I am. And oh yeah, that's another thing that's quite controversial for people, but this is what I got in my download. We are gods. We are a part of God, but we also are gods with a big G. I mean, we can create a universe with half of a thought. Half of a thought. What also I got was the life like what we're living right now. It's like a small part of our fingernail, the energy we use in of our soul, as part of our fingernail. That's how powerful our soul is. We are expressions of God. And even I got downloads about Jesus, that there were many, not just one. There were many. I also got the download that there was a Christ consciousness, also Christ energy. And this energy is like right under unconditional love, right under it in the other world. I also got that things about a little bit about the Bible, that the Old Testament is not accurate, and also that the New Testament, some things are not accurate because of the manipulation of the government and the priests and the church at that time. Because Jesus, or one of the Jesuses, they were enlightened beings. They were enlightened souls that brought the consciousness of the other side to the physical. And that's why they were able to do miracles and they were able to do certain things. But in the Bible, King James was missed. They manipulated what he said to bring fear and to bring separation. Jesus tried to tell you, he says, yeah, I do these miracles, but guess what? You can do even greater. He was trying to tell you, you're a God like me. You can do even greater. He also was saying, I'm a son of God, but so are you. You're a daughter of God. You're a son of God. He was not saying, I'm just Jesus and then there's you. It was not like that. And it's not like that on the other side. What I got, that download was that Jesus was an enlightened being who brought the consciousness to the physical. And he was not teaching judgment. He was not teaching fear or punishment. And also, here's another thing I got, karma. Karma does not exist on the other side. What we mistake karma for is law of attraction. It's if you put yourself in a certain frequency or vibration, you open yourself up to whatever that vibration is. It's not to punish you, because God doesn't punish. We are love. We are love. And our soul is made up of love. For example, Napoleon, he did war, he killed, and he did all this stuff. But when Napoleon dies, what's left? His soul. And what is the soul made out of? Love. His soul is made out of love. And so this is what some of the downloads I got. I also got, oh yeah, here's another one. I got that people who die and go to hell and come back. First thing I got, that there is no hell and there is no heaven. Now I'm going to tell you, I'm going to explain what I got. My download was that the hell that person was in when they died is a hell that they created while they were here. Their fear of its existence. Because you're such a God, you create that. And souls that are in the hell, this is a download I got, souls that are in the hell, they don't stay once they realize, hey, it's you creating the hell, not God. What? It's me? And they leave. Same thing for heaven. When they go to heaven, usually there's Jesus, maybe there's Virgin Mary, and there's hardly nobody there. And they start to realize, hey, wait a minute. This is my version of heaven. This I'm creating this. And they leave. The whole point is that when you die, everywhere can be heaven, everywhere you go, because it's all God's light and love. Everywhere you go can be heaven, because you are a created God. God gives you free will to do what you want. We come onto this plane of existence as to experience. That's what I got. We don't come to learn. We don't come as a school. That's my download. We come as to experience. The way to describe it is, if you read every book on how to drive a car, but you never driven a car, but you read every book, you know all the information about a car, but you never driven a car. It's the same for the soul. They know all the information, but to experience third D, lower vibration, they have to lower their vibration to a lower density to come to Earth, to a 3D Earth, to experience separation, to experience no love, to experience hate, to experience all these things. Because on the other side, you're in high vibration. So that's one thing I got. And also, I was a Christian. I was raised a Christian. In my early teens, I was a Christian. But when I died, all of that went out the window. The thing is that yes, some of the New Testament is true and real, is perfectly correct, and a lot of other stuff has been written over, manipulated by governments and people who wanted people to be afraid of Jesus or the Christ, because they didn't want Christ to take the people, to take over. They were afraid. He was a threat to them. He was a threat to the religious establishment at that time. He was a threat to the government. The other thing I got was that as being a Christian is that if you die and you go to hell, you're never supposed to leave. So why did these people who died left the hell and came back? Why? Because they were the ones that were creating it. They were the ones that were creating it in the first place. And that's why they're able to leave. And because in the Bible, if you're a diehard Christian, you go to hell, that's it. It's forever. It's done deal. And I see all over the place people who have went to hell and came back. Went to hell, came back. Went to hell, came back. So that's my download, and that we create. We're such powerful gods. Whatever we fear, or we are creating on the other side. And the other thing is, here's something that probably a lot of your viewers might not agree with, but I'm just going to tell my download, and that is that. Don't take life too serious. Life is really, on the other side, is really considered a game. And it's like this. I'll give you an example what I got from the other side. It's like you have a soul group, which you might call your friends. And in this soul group, you say, hey, did you hear about that game called Earth? Yeah, I heard about it. Well, I'm going to go and play that game. Really? No. But I'm not going to forget that I'm a god. And you go down there, you play, and you come back, and you say to your friend, oh my God, you won't believe that game called Earth. But I forgot that I was a god when I was down there. Then your other friend says, well, I'm going to go play too, but I'm not going to forget that I'm a god. And they go down and they play and they forget and they come back. And that's how it is over there. It's not as serious. And we have many lives. That's another thing. Many lives, many chances, whatever you want to call it. We have many lives, and we pick our parents. Like one reading, a person asked me, "What's more real, um, destiny or free will?" And I said, both, because some points in your life you have planned already with your soul. Certain people you're going to meet no matter what you do, and other situations is your free will. Your children, uh, you have already planned that they're going to be your children. Your husband, you already planned that he's going to be your husband. Your best friend, you already planned it. Now you still have free will in this life to say, I don't want him as a husband, or I don't, but you already planned that you're going to meet those people, that they're going to play those roles, those souls. You might have I don't know, 10 people in your soul group, and they all say, well, I want to play your daughter when you go to Earth. Hey, I want to play your son. Hey, I want to play your best friend. Hey, I want to play the lover that breaks your heart. Hey, I want to play your best girlfriend. I want to play your father. That's how it works. We do have soul agreements. Um, but we
Sometimes I
still
think we're
have
all
free
just
will.
here for heaven's amusement. Here's a horror film. Here's a comedy. Here's a romance. You know,
Exactly.
we're just sitting
Exactly.
back
Because
and eating popcorn.
right, well, that, believe it or not, when you come back to the other side, when you go to your soul group, that's how it is. It's like just a new movie in town. Oh, I got to see it. I got to hear it. What happened to you over there? It's like that. We have total free will. God loves us, and I want to clear something up also. I got my download. There is no. Uh, some people were telling me that they were afraid they're going to dissolve back to God. That's not going to happen. God has free will. You can, when you're dead, you can say, I want to merge with God and totally lose my identity. That's up to you. You can do whatever you want to do, but there is no obligation, or there is no plan that you have to dissolve back. No, 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 no. God gives you free will. You're an expression of God. So there's nothing like that. My mother, she was not dissolving back to the light. Even if she came out of the light, she's not dissolving. Her identity, her free will, what she wants to be, what she wants to do. The souls on the other side are they're having parties. That's another thing. My mother, she had her kind of like party outfit on. So whatever she was doing on the other side, and I must have interrupted with my crazy fanatics over here. She was having a party. She didn't have on funeral clothes at the hospital. She had on her things that she goes with her girls club that she used to do the bingo parties with. That's what she had on. You see, so there is so much. So it's so much wonderful, and that's why that brought me to a conclusion with my mother, that I knew that she was all right, but even better than all right, better than the life she was leading here. So what I tell people is, don't take life so serious. Don't take life so serious. Try to show love as much as you can. Oh yeah, one more thing. We are going through right now what we call earth vibrational change. That's something I got, and that's happening now as we speak. And there's a story behind that too. It's a pretty heavy story. It's a download, but it's a pretty heavy story what I got. But I'm going to tell it if that's okay for you. Okay, the story is what I got while I was on my second NDE was the story of the Earth, and the Earth was that she made a deal with. On the other side, let me explain. On the other side, there's souls creating all kinds of games, all kinds of planets, all kinds of. The Earth is a soul. It's not just a piece of rock. It's alive. It's a soul. Okay, and these souls made this game called Earth, and the Earth agreed to play the part of the Earth. The soul agreed to play the part of the Earth, but she said, "I'm going to play this part for a couple billion years, And then when my time is finished, I'm going to rise my vibration. I'm only lowering my vibration to 3D so the souls can experience in this game what it is to be on 3D, lower density, what it is to experience love, no love, or hate, or all these lower energies. But when a billion years is up, when a few billion years is up, I want to raise my vibration. I want to go from 3D. Now, the billion years is up right now, and Mother Earth said, well, I want to leave to the souls that create this game. Now, I want to clear something to you, and that is that no soul can control another soul. Impossible. Impossible. Even a child that's murdered, before the child experiences pain, the child's soul is out of the body before it even experiences the pain. You're going to hear a lot of NDEs seconds before the accident, they were out of their body, they were gone. It's the same. And also the child's soul knew that I'm going to leave, I'm not going to stay that long in this earth game. So the souls that created the game said to the Mother Earth, no, you'll have to stay. And Mother Earth said, no, I'm leaving. Now, Mother Earth made a call out at a certain time before to have souls, our friends, souls, to be reincarnated into the earth. We might call them star seeds. And what these star seeds do, they help her raise her vibration. An example is that if you want to move to another apartment, you can do it by yourself, move all the furniture by yourself to another apartment, but it's going to take you a long time. But if you call your friends, they're going to help you. And guess what? It's going to take a lot less time to move. It's the same for Mother Earth. She can do it herself, but it's going to take her a longer time. So she called these star seeds to be born onto the planet to help her raise her vibration. And that's what's happening now. And what that's doing to all of us who are here, it's defining currently what vibration you're on. That's the first thing. And second, it's going to divide. The people who are in fear and anger is going to be on one side of it. And the people who are in love and joy and freedom is going to be on the other side. Now, what I learned about from my first near-death experiences is that we have choices, or what I would call timelines. And right now we have one timeline that's on 5D and another timeline that's on 3D, and they're on top of each other. And what's happening is that we are experiencing super great things and super horrible things. We're seeing it all at the same time. Now that's going to happen for a little while, but soon the earth is going to go to two timelines, and it's going to gradually go. You won't even notice it, but sooner or later, all of a sudden, if you're in a higher vibration, you're going to notice that everything all of a sudden turned out okay. Everything is wonderful. And if you're in lower vibration, you're going to learn that everything is lower vibrational stuff. Now, again, I say, in the other world, none is better, just different. It's like if I asked you, the number 1 and the number 7, which one is better? They're just numbers. None is better. On the other side, none is better. Just different. And the same with people who are in a lower frequency or lower vibration. They're just taking the long way home. It's not because I'm better or you're better. It's just different. They took the long way home. We decided to take the shorter way home. That's it. That's all. What else? Yeah, this energy change, it's going to affect everything. Outlook. Yes.
It's kind of passive. I've heard several people recently that I've interviewed talk like you are, and I kind of see it as like being passive. Like, there's some people, we got to change things, we got to do something, like the sky's falling, and then you have this. It's the way it's meant to be. It's the way it's going on. Yeah, I'm just taking it all in.
Okay, well, I'm not telling anybody to fight, because I'm not telling
Right. I know
anybody
you're
to,
not.
I'm not telling anybody to be on an aggressive path. I'm just saying that be happier and happier. That's what I'm saying. Because what's going to happen is the earth, uh, which is such a beautiful soul, is giving us souls on her a chance to make a choice. That's all. And on the other side, no choice is better than the other choice, just different. If you want a life of love and joy and freedom, then you're going to choose a higher vibration, and then you're going to try to keep your vibration on that as much as you can. If you choose a lower vibration, then you're going to be like the lower people, because right now, people who remember one thing, and that is the earth is rising in vibration. She is not lowering, she's rising. And the point about that is that the people who are on a lower vibration are trying to hold on. So they are trying to create an illusion that the world is getting worse, the world is getting more horrible. That's the illusion they want to create, because what you believe has power. That's why symbols have power, just from the ancient civilizations. That's why they always use symbols. Why? Because it makes you believe. The Indians, they painted their face red before war because they believe that they're stronger with this paint, visual. It makes you believe. So the illusion of belief, because the ancients knew that belief is power. The placebo effect. If you believe that this pill, which is a sugar pill, has medicine and it's going to cure you, guess what? Because you thought that way, it's going to cure you.
Yeah. It just feels like the
so,
energy is
so
like, in a nutshell, is like compliance, or just let it be, just let it flow. There's resistance
well,
or
the
compliance. I don't know.
well, the thing is, I would tell you is to stay in truth, but without hating anyone. To stay in your own truth without hating anyone. You don't have to do things bad to your body because some other person tells you to. But at the same time, you don't have to hate someone who's on
Right.
that other side of that fence. So that's what I'm telling people to do. And I'm telling people to follow their heart, their soul, their heart. Follow the love if that's what they want. It's okay if another soul chooses, hey, I choose to have things like the way they were, and I want lower vibration, I want this. That's okay. That's okay. But you still have the right of your own body. You still have the right to put in your body what you feel is okay. You should not force something into your body because a particular news or government tells you to do so. You have to listen to your heart. And a person who is vaccinated or not vaccinated, God loves them both. So I'm not.
It's horrible that people are being segregated in those lines now, just like if they were a different race or religion. It's
Yes,
come down now to
yes,
vaccinated or unvaccinated. Last year's
yeah,
Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative.
right, exactly,
There'll be
exactly.
something else
But
next month.
well, like I said, as the Earth raises her vibration, people on a lower vibration, they're going to be going quite crazy about it, because they're trying to hold on to their vibration. And as they don't know it, but that's what they're trying to do. And as they try to hold on, they even go lower, because they have to do something even more lower and more lower, until one day it's going to be a totally different timeline. And then they're going to have their lower vibrational earth, but they're also people going to have their higher vibration. And that's my download that I got. I know it sounds a little bit Disneyland, but that's really what's going on. And you can see that there's friends you might know who's been friends for years and years, and now all of a sudden they're no longer friends.
Right. One of my brothers and my sister, they quit speaking when Trump got elected, because my
Yeah,
brother's
yeah,
against Trump, my sister was for Trump, and
yeah,
they
yeah.
were thick from the day my brother was born. They were like bosom buddies. And they quit
Right.
speaking over Trump. And they still don't speak.
Yeah, yeah, because that's the vibrational change. It's touching everything that's on the planet, everything. And vibration is a very powerful thing. I mean, if I sing a note and it matches the vibration of a glass, it can break the glass. So vibration is what we are. Frequency and vibration is the same thing. And so we're going to a higher vibration. There's more light coming to the earth. That's another thing. If you might notice, the sun is different. The light of the sun is different. We're rising, more light is coming into the planet as she rises vibration, because like I said, the agreement is up now, and she's going to what we would call 5D or higher vibration, where in that world there's only going to be love, peace, and joy. And also in that world, you'll be quite close to the other side. You could even walk onto the other side in that world without even dying. That's how powerful that world is. And also, aliens are real. That's another thing I got from the download. They are real, and they come in love, not there are some, like in everything that exists, there are some that are malevolent, but for the most part, they're more, I'd say about 80 to 90% of them are helpful, not harmful. We are being watched, but they're not interfering with us so much because we have a natural evolution to do. And they're not allowed to interfere with our evolution, because if they came and just told us all the answers, and it would interfere with our evolution, and we would have all this knowledge, but then it's like putting a gun in the hands of a baby. If they're not mentally up to par, it's dangerous.
What's
So
that?
it's dangerous when the extraterrestrials would give us more information and more things, but they let us have our own personal evolution because they don't want to interfere. And this is a very special time or moment, I would say, when the earth is rising our vibration for us to awaken. And so they will not interfere with that, but they are around, and we won't be able to blow ourselves up, so people can relax about that. That's something I got too, that we're not, ever since 1945 is when they got the attention of the extraterrestrials. As far as it's more like the kids found the matches, okay, let's let's watch them, because when we blew up Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that's when it not only affected the earth, but it affected the whole universe. So now we can barely even test nuclear weapons on the planet. If you notice, they're not going to function. In Russia, they can't test nuclear weapons. Spaceships show up and nothing functions. Same in America. So I mean, they're watching us, but they're allowing us to do our natural evolution. That's another thing. So they're not here to harm us, because if they wanted to harm us, they would have done it a long time ago.
Interesting. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for all
Yes.
your wisdom and your experiences. And I'm sure your mother is just watching you like a hawk at all times.
Well, yes, I talk with her all the time, and I would say to your listeners, if you have somebody who has left this world, you can contact them easily, just with a thought. If you think of them, they immediately will be around you, immediately. So and they hear everything you say. They know everything. They are gods. They can help you. You can, if you quiet your mind, you can get messages from them. They do it in different ways. Sometimes they may put a penny on your table, or a feather, or may have a bird hang out your window that you don't know why, or all of a sudden a butterfly may appear in front of you. It's all kinds of things like that. they communicate with us, and they know we're here on this earth, and they know that we're doing our little game. We're experiencing, because on the other side we know all. So we it's no lesson we need to learn. But I must say one thing: while we're doing this game, we could learn a lesson. That's true, but it's not because we have to learn a lesson. It's not because we're obligated to learn a lesson. That's what I wanted to say. Clear. Yeah.
Okay. We'll leave with that
Okay.
thought then.
Yes, yes. And yeah, so Peggy, I just want to thank you for having me on your program. And I hope if you have any other questions, you're always welcome to ask me, and I'll be glad to tell you anything that I got from over there.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Dennis. I mean, you're like what, rock star legend or something? So
No,
it's like, wow, he just
no.
responded to me right away. Yeah, I'll be on your show.
No. I just try to answer as many people as I can, but it's quite difficult. If you got picked, then it was meant to be, because I have so many emails, like 4,000 to be honest. So that's all people who want readings or want me to talk with them, or saw the show or saw the interviews. So if I picked you, it's because I felt something from your letter. And like I told you, I saw light. I see light in your face. And so what you're doing is great. I can tell you that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later. Okay.
All right. Take care. Take care,
All right,
Peggy.
bye-bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.